first and foremost, congratulations. The Iron Survivor Challenge match from Saturday at Deadline. You were able to pick up that victory. I was in attendance. You're from behind. You have 0 points. It seems impossible. And then you pick up those quick pinfalls in succession to win that match. First and foremost, congratulations.
Man, thank you, David, man. It means a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Trick, how you feeling after last night?
Man, shoot, I'm still on cloud nine. I mean, that little, mellow with the title.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like that's accidental. But, that's not going to stop the momentum of everything I have going on right now. I mean, me and Melo, we're going to take care of our issues, but I have a title match in 3 weeks.
But
That's
you're going on the record to say that was accidental.
I definitely feel like that's accidental, man. Melo's my boy. I don't feel like he would do me like that on purpose,
All right.
Man, there's a lot here. I was actually really looking forward to interviewing you. We have watched your growth on television. For you, I don't know much about you. I tried, but I don't like to go to Wikipedia. Did you have any independent wrestling experience before all of this?
Oh man, funny you say that, Tommy. I went to a tryout. This is at the end of 2019, and I had no wrestling experience before then. So they told me, go learn how to wrestle. We'll bring you back for a tryout. I went to CZW for probably 5 months right before COVID broke out. And Tommy, I might have seen you there at a show.
I was going to say, wait, didn't I? Then I met you. You went to Temple.
Yes. Well, no.
Holy crap. 100%.
Yeah.
No. I remember meeting you and they're like, yeah, he played a little bit in the NFL. I totally remember this now.
Yeah, this was a while back, but yeah, that's the first time I met you. Well, the only time I met you at CZW. And then COVID broke out shortly thereafter. And then after that, during the pandemic, I moved to LA and I trained at Notch Pro for about 3 months before I got my second tryout.
Nice. Again, your growth. You were basically, if I could pattern it, there's a Shawn Michaels, there's a Diesel. Carmelo was the steak. You were the baked potato or the rice, pilaf, or the broccoli, and you were the hype guy.
Yes.
And then you quickly emerge. You have the right look. You could definitely talk, and you wrestle, which is always the name of the game. And then you're quickly becoming equal. And now you're a bigger star than him. Who is your friend? And trust me, I'm also sitting in the same Zoom room as somebody who's my friend who's turned on me a bunch of times. So be careful of that. For you, recently, Dave was there. He said you got the loudest pop outside of CM Punk. And this is outside the Performance Center. For you, seeing your own growth as a performer, or just taking in that moment of thousands of people in Connecticut just cheering your name. What does that feel for you?
Man, it's awesome. I've never stepped foot in Connecticut before that show that I went to. So to see that, the movement, my hard work that I've been putting in for, some years now is paying off. It's huge for me, man. Every single time I walk through Gorilla and people chanting "Whoop that trick," it's a surreal moment, and I appreciate it.
Within NXT, you never know when you can get pulled up to the main roster. And I actually used you as an example. I said, what would they do if Trick got a call tomorrow and all of a sudden he was wanted on Raw or SmackDown? Do you think you're prepared for that phone call?
Absolutely.
Is it something that you would want to do in the very near future, or would you like to continue on with NXT until the time was absolutely right?
To be honest, Bully, I'm always a big proponent of being where your feet are. So whatever the mission is that's right ahead of me, I just want to kill that. If that means it's Raw, it's Raw. That means NXT, it's NXT. Whatever the mission is, that's where my feet are. I don't try to look too far ahead most of the time.
We're talking about growth as well as experience. For me, I think I know a defining moment for you, but I want to hear from you where it's almost like the light bulb went on Was it your match with Ilya Dragunov where you're like, this is it for me? I can not only just hang, but how the people received it for you, or was there something different?
Absolutely. Heat wave this year, not Trick Dragunov 1, which was a good match, but Trick Dragunov 2 at Heat Wave. I remember it got to a point where I'm fighting for my life. And, you know, I knew what I was getting into before I wanted the match. But, you know, I lost the match, but I got everything I needed from that loss. I think I earned the people's respect, and I proved it to myself. I belong here. And, you know, that was the goal the whole time. So, yeah, you called it right on the head.
You definitely do.
When you said you were fighting for your life, was it just that it was such a physical battle, or was it the deep water of time in the ring? Like, what was going through your mind? How were you fighting for your life?
Man, it was a physical battle. When you facing Ilya Dragunov, you know, he's a different type of breed, man. He's thrown off a little bit. I remember I'm kicking him in the face, giving him my best stomps, and he just gives me a look. You know, I'm thinking, man, if he can take this, you know, I have to dig deep and show what I'm really about. So, yeah, just that's that deep water. I'm not talking about time. I'm talking about just being in the moment and trusting your instincts. That match took me to a level that I never been to before then.
You know, Trick, in wrestling we talk about, and it's rarely talked about, but the cool factor in pro wrestling. There's very few times like the NWO back in the day, Punk, where we're like, oh, they brought the cool factor back to pro wrestling. You're doing that with NXT. Perfect example is the line you hit last night. You know, I'm 23 in LA. Trick James, bitch. Like, that's and it got, whoa, like, you know, that pop from the crowd. Like, is this something that you're doing intentionally? And do you have the freedom to kind of ad lib a little bit, bring that cool factor into NXT? Because I feel like you've been doing that lately.
Yeah, I think that's who I am. I mean, Sean trusts me to go out there and be myself. And he says, hey, you know, it's not my job to make y'all cool. Y'all go be yourself, and I'll tell you if you're going too far. So he hasn't told me I've been too far yet, so I'm going to keep on doing what I do. But
I mean, that's exactly what happened to him. You know,
right.
that's exactly what happened to DX, and how, you know, they had gotten into so much, you know, hot water with Vince, and they just kept going because he never really, you know, put the break. So he knows what too far is because he's gone too far before.
Exactly. He says that all the time.
The bigger part of it too is, but he could back it up in the ring.
Absolutely.
And that's the main part. I mean, there's a lot of people who could talk the talk and they can't walk the walk, but I'm so happy that you're doing both. You coming from, here's a big reason where, and I don't think a lot of wrestlers understand it. You coming from a sports background, a football background, you were constantly being judged,
right?
Constantly being evaluated. If you jumped higher, you would get paid more money. If you ran faster. When you come to the performance center, you have all these other talents, but like, how are you going to excel? How are you going to, you know, take it to the next level? One, to get hired, or two, to where you're at now. Like, do you apply that, or like, how can you translate to somebody who wants a job, like in there, like to be like, you're under constant evaluation. If not, you're going to lose your job.
Absolutely. I think it comes down to ambition. You know, before, like you said, the mark was to run the fastest, you know, to catch the most passes and have the most yards. Now I think my mark is to get the people the loudest. You know, when I show my face, I want the people to react the most. That's kind of my measuring stick now. And it's kind of funny, like you said, transitioning from sports. You know, I played football for literally 20 years. And, you know, for 20 years, I learned how to do whatever it takes to stay on my feet. You know, first day of training wrestling, I had to get rid of everything I'm known for the past 20 years. You know, slam yourself against the ground, you know, learn how to fall. So, you know, it's been a process of learning, you know, this is something totally different than probably most athletes are used to. But, you know, it takes will, it takes determination. You have to be strong-minded to be in this business. That's probably what I learned the most from it.
Were you a wrestling fan growing up?
Definitely. It's funny, Attitude Era, you know, Monday Night Wars, ECW. You know, I watched all that. I was young at the time. And then, funny enough, I opened a can of whoop ass at like 4 years old. My mom kind of cut back on the wrestling a little bit. But and then, growing up, I was definitely into it. Then the more involved I got in football, going to get recruited and stuff like that, it takes such a commitment to be good at that level. I did back out, and this is probably around when John Cena and Randy Orton are on top. But so it's probably like 7, 8 years I haven't really watched wrestling before I got back into it. And man, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
That's awesome.
Rick, one of the questions I love asking the NXT talent revolves around your coaches. You guys are blessed with having so many great coaches, so many great minds to tap into. So when you're having a hard time figuring something out, or when you need some real great advice, who is your number one person to go to in NXT?
Oh man, that's tough. You put me on the spot. Okay, so if it has to do with the actual show, of course, it's Shawn Michaels. My coach that I train with on a daily basis is Terry Taylor. And
can't go wrong there.
Can't go wrong there, man. He's great. He's a genius. And Booker, he always gives me, words of advice, little nuggets to hold on to. So I know you asked for one, but I would say mainly it's those three.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a great three.
Trick, talk about your relationship with Carmelo Hayes. Seriously, you guys have been paired together for a while here. Talk about that relationship you have and how much you've learned from each other in this time.
Man, literally, it's probably the perfect pairing. Coming into the business, I have very limited experience, as y'all know. And Melo's been doing this for a little bit, a little while. And I was pretty comfortable talking as in, being entertaining as a person, but still having live reps in front of live audiences. I was pretty new at that. But, they trusted me to be able to talk early in the game. And, it was a blessing working with Melo because, he carried a lot of the load in the ring. I was able to get in front of audiences, feel it, build a rapport with audiences. My confidence grew a lot when I get to walk out with my boy, see what this is about. And then once it was my time, I knew exactly how I wanted to hit it. And even off camera, man, me and Melo, we click. We have a lot of things in common. A lot of the stuff that we do on TV is a direct reflection of how we truly are. Like, we don't plan how we dress. We don't do anything. And a lot of times we come in and we dress exactly the same on a Tuesday. From the color, if we're wearing jackets, we're wearing jeans with Jordans, whatever the case is, we might switch it up. Or we know if we have a signing, okay, we're wearing our best suit. We don't even talk about it. It's second nature, man. So honestly, it's meant to be. Me, Trick, Melo, it works.
Trick, we had Shawn Michaels on last week. We had a good conversation with him, and he referred to the NXT locker room as a family. And I kind of reminded him about the use of the word family in pro wrestling. Yeah, when things are going great, everybody's a happy family. But when, things are not going good, everybody hates each other. Can you describe the camaraderie and the common goals within the NXT locker room?
Yeah, man. You have to understand, we have a wide variety of talent. We have people who are from, the UK who've been doing this literally 20 years, and they have their own wrestling style there. Then we have, a new track girl who just graduated from college last week. So, at our PC, you see a little bit of everything. But for the most part, I think everybody is supportive of each other. People have different strengths, different weaknesses. But, I'll definitely say we family. It feels like college sometimes, but it's still very competitive. Like, all the top dogs want that number one spot.
Do you feel like there are dirty parts of the business? There's politicking, and there's a lot of things that can instill bad qualities in young wrestling minds. Do you feel like the Terry Taylors and the Shawn Michaels and the coaches down there try to insulate you from that and get you guys and gals away from that so you don't learn the dirty end of the industry?
Oh, definitely. They say all the time, what y'all went through in the business is way tougher than what we're going through now. From what I hear, I wasn't in the game when y'all was in the game, but you really had to watch your back and you really had to take care of yourself live on television in the ring. You know, for the most part, I like to believe it's not too much of that now. You know, everybody, everybody's here to get better. And I think it helps that everybody's getting paid too. So I think that kind of, that changes the game a little bit.
When the
And
boys
I
are making
also-
money, everybody's happy.
Right.
And it also feels like the structure in NXT is almost like a football team. Like you feel like you're in, you're in this together and you're all on the same team. Trick, I want to go back to Saturday. I was in attendance. What a great win for you. Over 5,000 fans chanting your name. Whoop that Trick. I mean, it was a very special moment. As I said, the pop that you got when you won was huge for you, because it's one thing being in front of the Performance Center. I know a lot of those fans are the same fans that come every week. For you, just go back to the experience and what happened on Saturday. And when you hear the crowd all chanting your name, everybody on their feet, when you're having your entrance, when you win the match, for somebody that's still new to this business, what was that like for you on Saturday?
Man, completely unreal, man. Like, you kind of have an idea of like, man, if I ever get my moment, I want to react like this. I want to respond like this. You don't really know what you're going to do until you're in the moment and you feel it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I felt like I had power, man. Just being able to look in the crowd and they with you. Whatever you want to do, like, hey, we support you, Trick, 100%. You put on the show and we're here for you. And that's an unreal feeling, man. It's almost addictive. Like now, I want to feel that every single match that I have. I know that's tough, but that's just how I feel.
You get addicted to the rush.
Yes, for sure.
It's the most powerful feeling in the world. I love it.
All right, so now let's look ahead. New Year's Evil, you're going up against Ilya Dragunov. You're now the number one contender. You're staring at him last night. He's got that NXT World Championship in his hand. Like, talk about this match we're going to see. Talk about the momentum that you have right now. How much do you want championship gold around your waist right now?
I'm willing to lay it all on the line. And I know that's what I'm going to get going against Dragunov. I know it's not going to be easy. I know I'm going through a beating, but I'm going to give one too. And I told him last night, this ain't the same Trick Williams from 3 months ago. It's a brand new Trick Williams, and he's going to feel it. So whatever it takes, I'm ready to get the job done.
I love it. And how about Booker? Just think about you. Booker is a Hall of Famer. You grew up watching Booker T. They're all saying, whoop that Trick. And he's saying, yeah, I like it. Like, I mean, just hearing Booker, like, and how his face lights up when he's doing it. That's Booker T. Trick. Like, that's you know what I'm saying? That's a legend. And he's totally buying into your character, your personality. Like, man, that's got to feel, that's got to be surreal, Trick. Seriously.
For sure, man. Like, Booker's a good dude. And a lot of times they say never meet your heroes. Man, it's been a pleasant surprise meeting Booker, man. He's been nothing but uplifting and positive to my career. And not even what you just see, on TV. I'm talking about, hey, when you hit this move right here, stick your feet, plant it. Make sure you flex and making sure you look good, different stuff like that. Like, he just wants to help, man.
This is the stuff that got him over. I mean, I remember hitting that kick and the way he would just pose and give a menacing look. Yeah, and like bow up his lats. I mean, that's why he's a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
I'll give you some veteran advice. This could have maybe helped you out. I wish I had the interview a long time. I think everyone in NXT should stay away from the parking lot or the backstage. Just come in from the fans, bro. Just come in from the fans, park your car there. There seems to be nothing ever happening back there. I mean, honestly, you're involved in one of the best storylines of a whodunit. And I know you're saying it's not Carmelo, but there's a lot of, you heard the audience last night too. They were kind of thinking it's Carmelo. So you guys better straighten out that stuff, but be safe. Just come in from somewhere else. Have Lyft drop you off in the front, not in the back.
Right. I'm always looking over my shoulder when I'm walking to work though. Always.
You have to. I don't even want to go there. I'm afraid, and I'm not afraid of anything.
And Trick, I got to be honest with you. I'm so glad that football didn't work out for you and that you became a professional wrestler, because I got to be honest with you. You had Philadelphia Green on. We wouldn't be having this interview right now.
Wait. Who's your team?
I'm a Cowboy fan.
Oh, man. Oh, well, I really can't talk right now because we
got two Cowboy fans here, him and Bully Ray.
Because here's the thing, Trick. If you would have played with the Eagles, you never would have had championship gold. Now that you're a wrestler,
Wow.
with NXT, you
Wow.
can win championship gold. That's
Wow.
you know what I'm saying?
He's
The
a
funny
tough guy
thing
over
is,
Zoom,
the
Trick.
Eagles have tasted gold more recently than the Cowboys have. It's been too
Yeah,
long.
but
They all
you know
talk
what,
smack.
Trick? But Trick, you know how it is. You don't look in the past. No reason to look in the rearview mirror. You got to look ahead. You know, you got to live in the now, and you got to look ahead. The Cowboys are going to be a Super Bowl contender this year. The Eagles will be watching from home in Philadelphia. And Trick, it doesn't all matter. Let's throw that out the window, Trick, because what I know for a fact is that New Year's Eve, you're going to be winning that NXT championship. You're going to
Straight
have
up.
gold around your waist.
Straight
So
up.
you're going to be a champ. You're going to be a champion, my friend. That's all that matters.
That's right. Trick Williams, championship gold, Cowboys, and we'll see.
That's it. That's okay. You know what? But we can agree on Trick. And I'm telling you right now, I'm buying a shirt. I'm buying the shirts. I'm all in. I'm all in on Trick Williams right now. So Trick, man, congratulations on all the success. But I cannot wait to see what you're going to do. Because Trick, on Saturday, you had a 52-year-old man chanting "whoop that Trick" and going yeah, and I like it. Like, I mean, that you had a 52-year-old man with all my gray hair doing that on Saturday in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So thank you so much, Trick. We truly appreciate the time. We can't wait to see what you're going to do next.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all. Hey, if you ever want to walk through the parking lot, I'm sure the people at NXT would love to see y'all there, man.
Oh, is that an invite to NXT?
Hey, come on, man. Come hang with the boys.
Trick Williams,
Okay.
Trick, thank you so much for the time, man. Thank you so much.
No doubt. Thank y'all.
Now, one award that we won't be giving next week, we're giving right now, and that's Booker of the Year. So, Bully,
No, I
Who
want to
is
go last.
your-
I want to go last. I want to go last.
So he's got to be in the main event. Welcome to
No. You know I like going on first rather than last, but I want to go last on this one.
all right. Tommy, do you want to go next? Or
I want to go second.
All
Okay,
right.
Dave, you go first.
I guess so, you know. All right. This one was a tough one for me because there were three that I was really juggling with. One was Scott D'Amore with Impact Wrestling. Impact has grown so much in 2023. That was a show, again, that, you know, not that it wasn't good in 2022, but what a jump in 2023. A lot of momentum, a lot of buzz. Why? Is because because of the stories and the matches we saw all year long with Impact Wrestling. Plus, we're going to see them change to TNA as well. We talked about the Knockouts division, but man, you know, Tommy, you know, you're the digital media champion, defended that championship over the weekend as well. So congratulations. Impact has done a lot of great things this year. So Scott D'Amore, I think, needs to be in consideration.
I agree, but it's part of my diatribe, so you go ahead.
Shawn Michaels. We've most of the calls that we've taken and most of the calls on hold mentioned Shawn Michaels. The growth of NXT has been absolutely incredible. It went from a show that, like you said, Bully, kind of tough to watch at times, to being something that you have to tune into each and every week. But I'm going to give the award to Booker of the Year, and I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anybody. It's Triple H. And I feel like what we've seen from the main roster of the WWE this year, listen, we've come on this show many, many times talking about how difficult it was to watch Monday Night Raw for 3 hours. That is not the case on a Monday night anymore. There were times in the WWE in general, it was tough to watch stories that didn't go anywhere or fell flat. That's not the case. Triple H dots every I and crosses every T. We're even seeing some realism. Things that we haven't seen in the WWE for decades, we're seeing now. Business has never been better. We talked about it here. This may be the best time for the WWE ever as far as marketing and merchandise and making money. We just saw the biggest WrestleMania of all time in WrestleMania 39. So my Booker of the Year is Triple H.
Okay.
Tommy?
Rightfully
that's-
so.
that's-
Good call.
There's no way that it's hard to counterpoint it. in any way, shape, or form. There are no yeah buts on your decision, especially with the very last booking decision he made. And what was the very last real booking decision he made?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be with CM Punk.
Yeah.
And, bringing CM Punk back, and I'm sure that there was a lot of people that were against it, but he knew what was best for business. And now we're going into a story where there's some real animosity between Punk and Seth Rollins that has everybody talking. I mean, what a way to close out 2023 for the WWE.
Hell yeah, on top, and the numbers they've been doing have been great. The one thing that, when you were going down the list of everything, there's also, and this is why I've never been against it. There's a lot of writers, and there's a lot of people who it's part of a team, and there's a lot of decisions that are made. But when you are the overseer of creative, like Triple H, he has to make those final calls where we point the fingers at you. Same with Scott D'Amore, HBK. Tony Khan is really the only kind of like booker, since he is all creative control, doesn't really have a bigger creative team or no writers. The business has been on fire as of late. That's always will, because WWE leads the way. Tony Khan, kind of that Wembley show was really good showing of how much the fans enjoyed the product. I know they sold a lot more for the next one as well. Again, the business is off the charts. Everybody is really good, and it's entertain time. But I'm going to go a different route, David, like I always do. Here's why. From taking something from nothing, taking something that was very obscure, and building it to a juggernaut. And I'm going to give my Booker of the Year to David LaGreca for what he's done for Busted Open, and has built Busted Open to this. Dave, I wrestle so much. Everywhere I go, people just talk about Busted Open, how much they enjoy Busted. The industry talks about Busted Open. And so now you are my Booker of the Year this year because of what you built for this brand, the respectability. And a lot of times, yes, you have people that you have to answer to, but a lot of times you've also said, F you, I know what the fans and the nation want, and this is what I'm going with. And you've done this. So there you go. There's my flowers to you, buddy.
You don't mind if I call you out on your answer, do you? I'll even give you the option. Can I call you out on your answer or not?
That I gave Dave LaGreca the Book of the Year?
Correct.
Sure. Okay.
I can call you out?
Yeah, sure.
This is Tommy's way of sitting on the fence and not having to give an answer.
I just gave an answer.
Because he doesn't want to get heat with the people he didn't choose.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. You're 100% wrong. This was a show.
Why are your chubby cheeks twitching like you want to smile?
No, it's not. I'm getting so fat that at night I'm cutting my face while I'm sleeping, and I'm drinking hot coffee.
Makes no sense unless you're sleeping in a bed of razor blades.
Oh, sometimes I do.
Dave LaGreca is not a booker.
Yes,
Dave LaGreca is a host of a radio show.
Yes,
albeit the biggest pro wrestling radio show on the planet and the #1 podcast, wrestling podcast on the planet.
He decides what we're going to talk about. He controls the narrative for 3 days a week.
Wrestling booker.
He's a wrestling booker.
Pro
what guest he wants.
Wrestling booker do you give your award to?
Dave LaGreca. Dave, let's have a creative meeting about itching, fat saying.
Well, first of all, thank you, but
think
I
about
understand where Bully's coming from too.
Look at the social media numbers.
This is
think
his
of the podcast.
way of not having to give an answer.
I said the easiest thing is WWE. Done. But I don't like to go easy.
WWE, what name would that be? Would that be Triple H, Shawn Michaels?
Triple H, because he's head of creative.
So is that your answer?
No, Dave LaGreca.
And now let me explain.
It's a 3-hour wrestling show. Let me explain to you this. It's a 3-hour wrestling show. We have an audience. People tune in. People tell you. And it was a show that went from 1 show a week to now 7 days a week, plus how good the Masters class is doing. And you should download and listen to it right now because that's really good. Sponsorships, all that stuff. You watch this company grow.
a booker is the guy who has the ideas for the stories and then puts those ideas on paper. Dave doesn't put any ideas on paper. Dave talks about whatever he wants to talk about when he comes on the air. Technically,
That's a
you would have
genius
to
booker.
say Paul, the producer, is the booker, but neither one of us would ever give him that kind of, never put him over like that. So absolutely not. So Tommy's answer is Triple H. And Dave is laughing and he's laying out right now because half of Dave knows that I'm right, but the other half of Dave, the giant, massive ego that he tries to contain on a daily basis.
That's not true.
It's true.
I do not have an ego.
Yes, you're passive aggressive.
What's Monday Night Raw?
Ego.
3 days,
You're
3
loving
hours.
this. You're like, yeah, that's right. I'm Booker of the Year. Screw Triple H. It's screw Tony Khan.
I mean, you would give me Booker over the year over Tony Khan, right?
Tony Khan is not a booker. He's a matchmaker.
Well, but all right, that being said, there's people who are picking Tony Khan. So what's wrong with Tommy picking Dave LaGreca?
Those are the 850,000 faithful.
It's a 3-hour wrestling show 7 days a week.
Dave, how much of this show do you book?
5 days a week.
I'm
Paul Heyman. He sleeps for 2 hours in the car.
What
and the last
percentage
10 minutes says, let's do this, this, and this, and the show works great.
Dave, what percentage of this show comes off the top of your head? Actually, what percentage of this show does the producer write for us and we actually say?
None. But I don't book. I
we
laminate.
Constantly go into business
I laminate.
for ourselves.
I don't book. I laminate. That's what I do. And by the way, the LaGreca's laminated list live February 10th. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. Go to Ticketmaster.com
live shows.
for tickets. That's right. February 10th, we're going to take over New York City. Unfiltered LaGreca. A lot of fuck yous on February 10th.
Well, then
Let's
if you're
hear
going to go that route,
Bully's
Tommy, then I'm going this route. Booker of the Year? Me.
No, Bully, there you go. There you go. Booker of the Year, Andre. No, who's your Booker of the Year, Bully?
I want to give it to D'Amore. I really do, because I've watched him work and I've seen what he's done. And I know that Impact made a play for Punk, but they couldn't compete, obviously, with what the WWE is offering. Based on this last decision, this last booking decision, I got to go with Triple H. He was able to mend a fence with Punk and book him back into the show to 71 million views, and now booking this angle with Seth. He was able to get on the same page with Punk and able to get Seth in the ring with Punk. That's what a great booker can do. And now we're going to get a great story out of it. I got to give the Booker of the Year to Hunter also.
And Bully, when we do this
with a very honorable mention to the great job that Scott D'Amore is doing in Impact Wrestling, despite the fact that I tried to light him on fire twice. I'm
going to give my honorable mention to Shawn Michaels for what he's done with NXT. But Bully, we might be talking about Triple H in 2024 as well, because we talked about WrestleMania 39 being the biggest WrestleMania of all time. We're probably going to say the same thing about WrestleMania 40. Like, I actually will be shocked, guys, if WrestleMania 40 is not the biggest WrestleMania of all time. And Bully, you said it. It may be the greatest WrestleMania. Forget about money being made and merchandise. They're going to break those records, guaranteed, at WrestleMania 40. But the way these stories are going that Triple H has built, Tommy, WrestleMania 40 may be the greatest. We may be looking at that one as the greatest WrestleMania of all time.